Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Saturday HOA Brunch, presented by Angius&Terry, LLP. Please sit back, relax, and join Brad Epstein and Jonathan Broderick for an hour of entertaining information about HOAs and HOA law.
Good morning, Sacramento.
Good morning.
It's 7:11, the date, but right now it's 9:05, and we're live in studio. It's a Saturday HOA Brunch, and we're excited again to be here.
This is going to be our best show.
Yeah,
I promise.
Yeah, awe the world
I
today.
guarantee.
Again. Well, who are we?
We are Angius&Terry. This is the Saturday HOA Brunch.
Right. And
welcome.
What do we talk about here exclusively? The most exciting topic in the world, right?
Community Association Law. Welcome, listeners.
Community Association Law. You can look us up on Facebook, the Saturday HOA Brunch, or you can go to our website and listen to previous episodes, www.thesaturdayhoabrunch.com. Should we get the forecast out of the way today?
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be, and it is balmy today.
Absolutely.
You know, I heard that some of our listeners, what they do is they download an app onto their phone.
Yeah,
or
the
cell phone.
iHeartRadio app.
Okay, and then they're able to
go
walk,
out for a jog.
Go out for a jog
our buddy
or walk.
Bob Browning, he goes out there and he runs probably like a 10K every Saturday, and boom.
We got to get him back in here.
We're going to get him back in here. So
reserve specialist.
He's a reserve specialist, just a nationally acclaimed reserve specialist. So what have we talked about? Insurance, reserve studies, HOA banking, internal dispute resolution. What are some of the other exciting topics? That
Security.
The
new laws.
The new laws. We had Skip Dom on with the legislative
accounting.
update.
So these are all the things that you could learn about if you listen to us.
Right. And
vendor contracts, election rules, the drought.
And we're so honored.
Absolutely.
Well, because we have a telephone and people can call in, 888-923-1380. But what do? We have all of the Northern California industry clout.
Right
come
here,
in
right
to
now,
studio.
right here, right
and
now.
Today we have two very special ladies in the industry that have, I think when we were talking before the show, over 30 years, so almost my lifetime worth of experience in the homeowners community association industry. So ladies, introduce yourself to our listenership. Julia Plummer and Katherine Henricksen from First Service Residential.
First Service Residential, welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. Get close to that microphone.
You got to just get right into it.
We are so happy to be here and to be a part of your show. Thank you so much. We were both 10 when we started in the industry, and so
exactly.
You can do the math and figure that 30 plus 10, and now you know how old we are.
Yeah, well, I forgot my calculator, so we believe you. But okay, Katherine, why don't you go ahead and just tell us a little bit about what you do for the First Service Residential office here in Gold River?
Okay, well, I'm currently the Vice President for Northern California. So I serve my regional directors and leaders, vice presidents. Julie is the vice president of Sacramento region, and we have 3 offices here in Northern California, San Francisco, and our Bay Area office in Pleasanton. So my role is to support those leaders in those regions and make sure they have all the resources that they need to serve our clients.
And the accolades that I hear, the various industry luncheons and get-togethers and things like that, it's just you're doing a great job. Great job, and even I believe Bob Cardoza said that when I was at the First Service Residential Seminar a couple months ago that you guys put on. And Julia, you're a famous face, and you've always got a smile. So why don't you go ahead? I know you're with your wing woman, and tell us a little bit about your previous experience in the industry and what you do for First Service Residential.
Thank you, Jonathan. I am the Vice President of the Sacramento region for First Service Residential. Absolutely love my job and my company. I have the pleasure of having a nice large team in our region. Altogether, we manage 31 homeowners associations. Many of those are large-scale communities with large staffs on site. We provide great educational tools and information for our board members and our associates, and just really love this industry and the people that we get to work with in this industry, like you guys.
We appreciate the compliment. You can't see us right now because obviously we're on radio, but the blush right now in the room is ecstatic. All right, so today it's really another, one of those topics that you can just keep on keeping on with, and that's board dynamics. So we're going to talk a little bit about board dynamics today, and hopefully we're going to play what's your favorite portion of the show, Epstein.
It's Battle of the Board Members.
Battle of the Board
Excited
members.
to play it.
Right. Well, so with you're talking, and Katherine, today, I mean, this job, it takes a toll. Well, didn't you say last night you were at happy hour with clients?
Yeah, that was a difficult.
That was a difficult.
That was a difficult.
And today you're going to go to one of your larger communities, and you're going to have a barbecue and a social, which just kind of just rings in the spirit of what this industry is about, with the uniformity of bringing everyone out and having a good time in the sunshine. Why don't you tell us what do you enjoy so much with your position with First Service Residential?
Well, I think what most of us that have been in the industry for so long enjoy about it. One, we feel a passion for what we do. So we truly believe that community living is a value add to just being a homeowner in the state of California. And so where we can support that community and where we can bring spirit and celebration, that just gives us all the reward we need.
Wow, sounds great. Now, Frank is actually pointing to the fact that we have a caller. Can we say hello to the caller,
Yeah, we
Jonathan?
can say hello to the caller real quick. Is this Matt?
Yes.
Hey, Matt, how are you doing?
Good.
Good. Is there? Did you have a question for us?
Yeah. When I was looking for a place to buy, I was looking at houses and condos.
Okay.
And I had two different realtors when I asked if I could get the HOA agreements and stuff, restrictions, say, oh, you'll get those after you buy. Well, I've heard all these nightmare stories about ridiculous restrictions and stuff. I'm not going to buy something without knowing if there's, a nightmarish.
That was episode 19. Absolutely. You must receive the CC&Rs and the rules and the governing documents before you buy. Tell us a little bit more about your experience.
Well, I gave up looking for condos because I want to know before I enter into anything.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just like I wouldn't buy a house sight unseen. Those agreements are as important as anything else. So I guess the point is, how do I go around my realtor to get those? Is there a predictable way for me to get those?
This is an interesting question. So your question is that your realtor was telling you you're not going to be able to get the CC&Rs or the rules until after you make your purchase. Do I have that question correct?
So I just want to share, Matt, you're exactly the owner that we want to live in our communities, because you're going to be informed before you arrive. And so you're going to understand the ground rules. And I'll just tell you, we know that all realtors don't really understand the industry, but I did my part. I married one, so.
You guys, the law requires an owner to provide to a potential purchaser the governing documents, among other documents.
Well, and Matt, I just want to let you know on my end, I know that you can't paint your house pink when you move into your HOA.
Especially a condominium.
Yeah, well.
Our suggestion, and I guess is a uniform, is to find maybe a different realtor, or maybe even reach out to some of the community management companies that are possibly managing some of the HOAs that you're looking to purchase in, and maybe you can receive some more information.
So that is false. A realtor should say, "Sure, I'll get those for you."
Absolutely. Let's take a vote in the room. Raise your hand. Everyone raises their hand.
Unanimous.
What a story.
Hey, we want to thank you for calling in, Matt. And then I know this lady on the line, Sam Chon, that I sit across from in my hallway. Well, Sam, how are you doing?
Let's send Matt something.
Yeah, we're going to send something to Matt.
Matt, you want to hang on the line, and we're going to send you a gift, okay?
Okay.
Okay, hang on the line.
Thanks for calling, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
And Miss Samantha Chon, are you there? Hey, Frank, what are you doing back there? It's time to nap time. Well, we'll get back here with Sam in a little bit. So we had a call from Matt. We have two experts in the industry that just helped answer a question
First Service
for Matt.
Residential.
From First Service Residential.
Residential.
When we come back from break, we're going to jump into board dynamics, and hopefully it'll be some more information that'll help Matt out.
Don't go away.
Hi, I'm Morgan Fussell. My company, Broadband Agreements, negotiates cable television and broadband right of entry, access, and compensation agreements for your communities. At Broadband Agreements, we offer a free review of all agreements with a signed letter of authorization. Broadband Agreements will improve your community's income and/or savings, or you don't pay us a dime. Visit us at broadbandagreements.com. That's broadbandagreements.com. Or call me, Morgan Fussell, directly at 916-939-5026. That's 916-939-5026. Broadband Agreements online at broadbandagreements.com or 916-939-5026.
If your community association has a good relationship with their current management company, you can stop listening. However, if you are struggling with your current service provider, we'd love to talk with you to see if Omni Community Management would be a good fit. Transparency, education, communication, and trust are just 4 of the qualities that set Omni apart. This is Rolf Crocker, CEO of Omni. Call us at 916-965-8964. That's 916-965-8964. Online at omni-mgt.com. That's omni-mgt.com. Omni Community Management, your friend in the community association management industry for over 20 years.
Have you ever heard of the saying, a person's home is their castle? Of course you have. But sometimes a construction defect can turn your castle into a catastrophe. If this happens to you, you need proper and professional representation. You need Angius&Terry, LLP. For over 30 years, the attorneys at Angius&Terry have been effectively serving homeowners and community associations, recovering more than $500 million on behalf of their clients. Angius&Terry strives to ensure that your construction defect claims are prosecuted in an aggressive and cost-effective manner. Angius&Terry will also continue to work with homeowners and community associations after the construction defect claims are concluded to make sure that the money received from builders is spent wisely and that your interests are protected during the repair process. Don't let a construction defect turn your castle into a catastrophe. Call Angius&Terry LLP today at 916-567-1400. That's 916-567-1400. Online at angius-terry.com. Angius&Terry LLP.
This is AM 1380, The Answer.
You're listening to the Saturday HOA Brunch presented by Angius&Terry LLP. And now your hosts, Brad Epstein and Jonathan Broderick on AM 1380, The Answer.
Hey, we're back in studio for our second quarter. I'm looking up at the arms of the clock. It says it's 9:20, and a good friend of ours, colleague Sam Chon. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, Sam, what are you doing in the office on a Saturday? I know you just got promoted to partner. So
Yay,
Congratulations, Sam.
So what are you doing? You just got bored and you decided you wanted to tune in to the company show, or what's going on?
No, I'm working as usual.
Okay.
I love it. Sam Chon, attorney with Angius&Terry.
Partner
With Angius&Terry.
So what's up, Sam?
I just want to call and say hello to Katherine, Henricksen, and Julia Plummer. I've known them for many, many years. With the Julia Plummer, I think I've known her about 10 years now.
You guys are golfing buddies, right?
Oh,
yes.
Two great golfers.
We tear up the golf course.
Well, I beg to differ.
Literally tear up the golf course. I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, can I actually say something to compliment Julia this morning?
Absolutely. Why not?
Yeah, like I said, I've known her about 10 years now, and, I can say with no reservation that Julia is very effective in communicating, and she actually has a very good business judgment skills, and she has a good common sense.
True.
And so I think that's, those are important skills when it comes to managing homeowners associations. And I think she's also a very persuasive leader, and I think that's important in making, many executive decisions that she has to make as a vice president. And so I just want to congratulate her also and to compliment her.
Well, Sam, we are all flattered, and the tissue
Well
is starting to fly around the room.
And the blushing is on Julia now.
Julia, do you agree with that statement?
How about if I say I appreciate that statement? So
Yeah.
thank you, Sam, so much.
We agree with that. Thank you, Sam
You're
Chon,
welcome.
attorney, construction defect specialist. If you want to call us, it's 888-923-1380.
888-923-1380.
First Service Residential. Tell us about First Service Residential, you guys. Jump on in.
First Service Residential is a publicly traded company, so I think it's the only one in
IPO.
Association Management Company.
Association Management Company, publicly traded. We are North American headquarters are in Toronto, Canada, and
don't you know?
And our United States headquarters is in Florida.
Wow.
So here in California, we have about 500 homeowners associations that are managed through about 9 regional offices. Our headquarter in California is in Irvine.
Okay.
We have currently about 800 associates working in California,
Wow.
and probably about 12 to 15,000 nationwide.
So you have the firepower to do great service for community associations, for Service Residential. And what else sets you apart from other community association management companies?
Well, I think one of the things, like others, we recognize education is an important factor. We see our associates as our greatest resource, so making sure that we create an opportunity for growth and empowerment of our associates is really important, so that our customers feel that that sense of response and get quick answers to their needs. I think also just the ability and focus on board education and opportunities to ensure that boards and our clients that we're connected to them at a very big level.
And Julia, I want to ask you too, and you guys kind of have a unique recipe for what you look for in an association, right? Like there's certain qualifications and there's certain characteristics that make the associations you manage unique, right? Like some of the larger ones that First Service has experience with is, the Natomas Parks and some of the large scale ones, right? So tell us a little bit about, wow, that's an association, you look at it and you say, this is why they would be a good fit for First Service Residential.
That's a great question, Jonathan. Thank you for asking that most difficult question. We really value the relationships that we have with our clients, and we value the relationships that we have with our associates. And so our criteria, if you would call it that, with working with associations is that we want to make sure that we are not only working with a community that really fosters a great professional relationship with us, but that also enhances or doesn't detract from the job satisfaction of our associates. So, am I making sense?
Yeah,
absolutely.
We tend to shy away from accounts that might have a reputation of changing managers and management companies very frequently because they're tenuous within themselves. And so, so that would be a criteria, I suppose.
Sure.
Yeah.
And we could segue into board dynamics. Before we do, Sam, Sean online, did you have any other further questions or comments?
No, I don't have any other further questions or comments. I just want to say or ask if I'm going to get a gift card too.
I knew it. That's what I was fishing for. Absolutely, Ms. John.
Ladies.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you,
thanks.
Sam.
Bye.
All right, so board dynamics, right?
I think Katherine wanted to follow up on the question.
Go ahead, Katherine.
Well, I think, because we're a large company, we have the ability and the resources to serve our larger community associations, and it's a niche here in the Sacramento region. Mm-hmm. With 31 accounts, we actually have over almost 120 employees just working in the Sacramento region. So it gives you an idea of the bandwidth, if you will, of our ability to serve those sorts,
service,
that size of community association, and to do it well.
And I'm going to give a shout out to all of those people that work in that great office where they all have smiles, or on sites. Every time you go in there, it's just a warm, welcome feeling, and everybody's got an energetic attitude, and that's just the type of environment that is going to be successful.
I would say that they are super friendly yet super professional. It's a really good combination, and it's great to work with them. I think any board would want First Service Residential as their management company.
Thank you.
Wow.
All right. So the question is, so what is the relationship? We're going to jump into board dynamics because that's the meat and potatoes of this show.
No fluff.
What is the relationship between association boards and the management company?
I would say formally, the management company is an agent on behalf of the organization, but that sounds really business-like and structured and kind of dry. So
that doesn't sound like barbecues or happy hour or anything like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would say practically that, the board sets policies and management's role is to implement those policies and operate the day-to-day operations on behalf of the board of directors. The board sets the tone and the spirit of the community, and management's role is to meet or exceed those goals. So
Excellent.
we have, essentially what I call the tone at the top. And that tone is set by the board of directors and how they work as a team together, or perhaps sometimes how they don't work as a team together. But the role is basically that the board sets the tone at the top, and management's role is to ensure that we operate within those parameters.
And Julia, did you have anything that you wanted to maybe add to that, like a side dish?
No, I think that Katherine explained it really well. We were talking earlier about managers and some of the things that they really love about their jobs, which is having the creativity to carry out those items that a board of directors might ask them to do. And I think that's a really important and essential part of our jobs, is to be able to kind of use those resources, best practices, reach out to other people in the community of association management, and kind of develop skills that help us serve our community leaders really well.
And they're valuable, right? The community volunteer leaders that come out. I mean, just some of the people that you meet too.
They really are. They really are. There are so many people so many community leaders that have a heart for serving their community. They are so valuable. We really enjoy working with them, and we appreciate their vision, and we like being their partners and meeting their needs.
I think when we talk about board dynamics, we're talking about these individuals who spend their volunteer time, because volunteer time is precious, and so they spend their volunteer time giving back to their community. I think the dynamic part of it is when you put, as many as 5, sometimes even more, volunteers together, and you're trying to create this team that's looking at the big picture from a 30,000-foot view in order to set the goals for moving this organization forward, or at a minimum maintaining it. So I think the dynamic part of board is actually combining these individuals, many of whom are absolute experts in their own industries.
Right. So what we're talking about is we're talking about community associations, and the board of directors are made up of volunteer owners, and those volunteer owners are elected by their fellow homeowners. And what I'd like to go to next is I'm really interested to hear about, and I think our listeners are, about in the annual board planning session. We wanted to talk about that, the annual board planning session, what that means, in particular about committee boot camps. What exactly is that? What's the value of having that annual board planning session, getting the board of directors together and on an annual basis?
Well, oftentimes when you have 5 different directors, you may have as many, we say in our horse community, you put 10 equestrian people together and you'll get 11 opinions. And so the idea about putting 5 board members and 5 volunteers together is to ensure that we try and get on the same page with them.
That is just, you know what? This is going to be a good topic, and it's not traditional or anything, right? Frank's giving me the thumbs up to leave a teaser for the audience. So when we get back, we're going to polish this up. We're going to talk about, what would you say, board boot camps, right? Brad, what was the other?
Committee
boot camps.
And a couple of other important areas for board members to pay attention to. So we'll be back for the third quarter.
Stay with us.
Hi, this is Rick Russo, owner of Russo Insurance Agency and Financial Services. We proudly serve Granite Bay, Roseville, Rockland, Sacramento, Lake Tahoe, and the surrounding areas. At Russo Insurance Agency, we like to say, get to know us before you need us. Our insurance agency is built on relationships and trust. If you want to be certain that your most valuable assets are insured correctly, allow us to give you more than just a 15-minute quote. For all your commercial, home, auto, and life insurance needs, call us today at 916-791-1901. That's 916-791-1901 or online at rickrussoinsurance.com. That's rickrussoinsurance.com. Thank you.
Having trouble understanding your community association's reserve study? Does your HOA's reserve study seem to be written in a strange language? Hi, I'm Robert Browning, owner of the Browning Reserve Group. At the Browning Reserve Group, we have been providing easy-to-understand reserve studies since 1999. We actually listen to our communities and help them plan for the future. Find us online at browningrg.com. That's browningrg.com or toll free at 877-708-0600. That's 877-708-0600. Clarity from complexity, the Browning Reserve Group.
Did you see the story about the Homeowners Association? I wonder what their residents think.
I don't know, but I love my condominium association. The place looks great and is well managed, and our property values are increasing.
Well, that's a good thing.
Community Associations Institute, CAI, has helped us build a great community. They have tools for safeguarding our investment, including education for our board and professional training for our manager. Just visit CAI at responsiblecommunities.com.
Okay, responsiblecommunities.com.
News, opinion, insight. AM 1380, The Answer.
You're listening to the Saturday HOA Brunch presented by Angius&Terry, LLP. And now your hosts, Brad Epstein and Jonathan Broderick on AM 1380, The Answer.
Welcome back to the Saturday HOA Brunch. With us is Katherine and Julia with First Service Residential. And we're talking about committee boot camps and the board member annual planning session. Let's get some detail with that. I think those are great ideas. I am completely in favor of those. Frequently, what I will do as an attorney for associations, I will be one of the components at these planning sessions. I will help with the orientation and tell the board members the new laws and some tips about fiduciary duty, which we'll get to in a second. So take it away, Katherine and Julia.
Well, we like to bring our directors together and perform an orientation. Typically, it can go an hour. It can go 4 hours. It can be, short and brief components of what we expect of them. Oftentimes, we hear what they expect of us, but we don't often have a chance to tell them that we might have expectations of them as well, like reading the board package in advance of the meeting. But we do like to partner with legal counsel, CPA, reserve study specialists in order to bring experts to the table that share in our desire to team together to serve this community.
Let me underline what you just said. This is one of my pet peeves. You said read the board packet before the board meeting.
Yes.
I go to many board meetings and I will literally see board members, and I just think they don't know better. I think they don't realize it. And they will be ripping open the envelope with a 1-inch thick board packet. These board packets aren't 1 or 2 pieces of paper. These are thick, double-sided packets, and they're looking at it for the first time. What's wrong with that?
Well, the idea for us is we love board meetings because that's where board members make decisions, and that's where we get to go away from those meetings and take action on their behalf. And so
get things done.
Things done. So when you have a board member that isn't prepared for a board meeting, oftentimes they want to table a discussion or they want to defer a decision because they haven't had the opportunity as a volunteer to prepare for making that decision. And while we understand that, some volunteers don't always get to prepare every single time. We actually ask in a board code of conduct that if that's the case, that director doesn't interfere in the ability of the association to move forward on a project.
Wow. Code of conduct.
Yeah.
What a great idea. What is this, a written policy that sets forth different things that board members should do to be an effective board member?
It's that. It also speaks both to their fellow directors and their community about how the board's going to interact with each other, with members in the community, with management and management associates. And so it really sets a great tone, and it identifies almost like a job description in addition to what might already be set in the governing document.
So you'll review this code of conduct at the annual planning session, make sure that if there's any questions the board members have, if they want to modify it. But in general, this is something that you'll present. First Service Residential will present sort of as a template, and that they could tweak it a little bit.
Absolutely. We present a draft to the board. It's a board adopted document, so it absolutely has to receive, the approval and acceptance of the directors that are considering it.
Okay, now Julia, I have a question for you. When you want to conduct...
Oh, another question.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jonathan.
and when you want to conduct...
Bring it.
Yeah, bring it on, curveball.
What are some of the bullet points when you would like to conduct an impactful board meeting? Not one where it's just going to go 4 hours, nothing's going to get done. And, I mean, if you want to have just cut and dry impact for the month, the board meeting, when everybody gets together, what are some of the bullet points that you emphasize?
Well, I think that, what we just talked about with board members reading their board packet ahead of time so that they come to the meeting prepared, that's really a key element in running an impactful meeting. And running a meeting that we're really, you get a lot done. Otherwise, you can have those 4-hour meetings where there are a lot of questions that could have been answered in advance. And so we highly recommend that. Other important things to do are make sure that you follow an agenda. Sometimes it's easy, especially if you allow homeowner comments during your meeting. It's easy to kind of go silly sideways on discussions. So important to pull those discussions back in and really stick with your agenda items. Maybe recognize things that are brought up for future agenda items, for meetings that can be posted in the future, but stick with the agenda that you currently have in place. Other things that you can do is to make sure that you have a homeowner forum that is consistent at every meeting. Allow a certain amount of time for homeowners to speak, maybe 3 minutes. Make sure that there's a level of discretion in the conversation and the tone.
So this is required to allow the homeowners some period of time
Absolutely.
that they can speak at a meeting. This is kind of confusing, and the law isn't very clear on this. But what you're saying is to have a consistent type of procedure for homeowner forum.
That's right.
What a great idea. How many times have we seen meetings get derailed because the board of directors wasn't controlling the homeowner forum?
That's right. A lot of times we'll see on agendas that homeowner forums are, people have 3 minutes to speak, and the homeowner forum will not last more than 20 minutes. I've been in meetings before that a homeowner forum can, take up a good 45 minutes to an hour, which is, we want to hear what homeowners have to say. By all means, but we also need to make sure that we have time to take care of the business of the association.
I say
otherwise.
this to some boards: the Gettysburg Address was delivered in 6 minutes.
I
swear
I was about to say that. You beat me to it.
So
I love it. That is such a great example.
In an
One of the
open
greatest
forum.
speeches of all time, and it only
Right.
took that. How many times do we hear homeowners that get into the homeowner forum and they say what they have to say, and then they say it again, and then they say what they said, and then
Right.
they say that again? You don't need to do that.
Right.
Board of directors are smart people.
That's
Right.
not like you don't want a politician doing a filibuster on the middle of an
That's
open
what it
forum,
is.
right? Going up there and trying to say, "Wait a minute, we're going to stand
Maybe that's
up
why
here."
some homeowners do that.
They go up there
Yeah.
and they think that they're just going to throw a little salt on the wound and just kill everybody's life and stay there all night. That's not going to happen when they do a
Right.
board meeting.
So we're here with
First Service.
Julia and Katherine from First Service Residential. I want to switch it to the president's role. This is my
Great.
favorite thing. As an association attorney, oftentimes my main point of contact is with not only the manager, but the board president. There are some great board presidents out
there
there.
are wonderful
Oh,
board
I have learned
presidents.
so much over my
Yeah.
20-year career about association and just about making really good decisions, fiduciary duty decisions.
Yeah.
So you guys, what is your opinion about the president's role, in particular at a meeting? How should a president act at a meeting?
I think Katherine has some great information on this.
So I think a president should be a facilitator of the meeting. So they certainly have the ability and the almost the obligation to participate. But I think that if they're a fair practitioner, they're going to direct the meeting. They're going to ensure that all directors have a fair and equal access to speak their position on a matter, and they're going to ensure that everybody has time and is treated respectfully. I think the president doesn't lead with an iron those presidents don't remain president for long because it's a disrespectful approach, both to their fellow directors and sometimes to the membership as well. So I don't think a president that leads with an iron fist is a strong president. I think that you're looking for somebody that can run a fair but efficient meeting. Volunteers also want to use their time wisely. Management attends a lot of meetings. So, you know, when we have an organization with a president that runs an efficient meeting, but a fair meeting, we're thrilled to attend those meetings.
Also, you had mentioned, too, when we were just chit-chatting before, you really like to make sure that they act as a conduit, not a filter.
That's
conduit,
right.
sorry. Conduit, not a
Right.
filter.
That's
correct?
right.
Okay, so you hear the background noise. That means that we're getting ready to head into the fourth quarter. So we are going to go to break right now. And when we get back, we're going to have more from Julia Plummer and Katherine Henricksen.
First Service Residential, don't go away.
If your community association has a good relationship with their current management company, you can stop listening. However, if you are struggling with your current service provider, we'd love to talk with you to see if Omni Community Management would be a good fit. Transparency, education, communication, and trust are just 4 of the qualities that set Omni apart. This is Rolf Crocker, CEO of Omni. Call us at 916-965-8964. That's 916-965-8964. Online at omni-mgt.com. That's omni-mgt.com. Omni Community Management, your friend in the community association management industry for over 20 years.
Hi, I'm Morgan Fussell. My company, Broadband Agreements, negotiates cable television and broadband right of entry, access, and compensation agreements for your communities. At Broadband Agreements, we offer a free review of all agreements with a signed letter of authorization. Broadband Agreements will improve your community's income and/or savings, or you don't pay us a dime. Visit us at broadbandagreements.com. That's broadbandagreements.com. Or call me, Morgan Fussell, directly at 916-939-5026. That's 916-939-5026. Broadband Agreements online at broadbandagreements.com or 916-939-5026.
The challenges presented by today's economy and rebounding housing market is forcing many homeowners association boards of directors to operate their HOAs more like a business. It's a balancing act of trying to stay solvent and still provide homeowners with quality amenities and services. One of the main challenges HOA boards are facing is attempting to recover unpaid HOA fees owed by delinquent homeowners. Collection efforts are often very time-consuming. If you want to get the HOA fees collection monkey off of your back, call ATC Assessment Collection Group. ATC is an attorney-supervised collection company, providing collection and foreclosure services to HOAs in both California and Nevada's most recognizable communities. Get back to what you actually volunteered to do as an HOA board member. Effectively oversee your community. Call ATC today at 916-641-1410. That's 916-641-1410. Online at atcacg.com. That's atcacg.com. ATC Assessment Collection Group.
AM 1380. The Answer.
You're listening to the Saturday HOA Brunch presented by Angius&Terry, LLP. And now your hosts, Brad Epstein and Jonathan Broderick on AM 1380, The Answer.
Well, we are back. Oh,
Welcome
Julia,
back, listeners.
How are you?
Yeah, great. Hello.
She's just having such a good time signing autographs. She has a group of people lining up. We're back.
Yeah, folks, one at a time, please, one at a time.
It's 9:40. I look at the computer in here, and it's actually 9:40. Can you believe that?
Yeah, what we want to mention is we're going to play Battle of Board Members in a different form. It's going to be Battle of the Managers, Julia versus Katherine, unless we have a caller. So what Julia says is any board members or homeowners, and Julia had called a few and said, call in if you want to play this game, because listen, you guys, the winner gets a $100 gift card. Right. Second place gets a $50 gift card. And those are going to go to our managers unless there's a board member,
and they get to choose
someone who wants to call in. someone wants to call in and they could play it. Otherwise, it's going to go. Now, first you wanted to talk about community spirit, fostering community spirit.
You know, Katherine talked about it a little bit, about the importance of the board president being firm but friendly and conducting. I think what was your verbiage for that? From
the tone at the top?
The tone at the top and how important that is. So I wanted to talk about that just real briefly before we move on to our fun game. One of the things that I really like to encourage our board members to do is to make sure that they recognize the importance and their job in building the community spirit. Some of the things that we recommend is that, attending your board meeting, getting there 15 minutes early, greeting homeowners when they come in, shaking hands and kissing babies, making sure that people feel welcomed in your community, that they feel like a part of your community. We find a lot of times that when people do feel welcomed, then they feel like they're part of the community or decision-making processes, or when they're well-informed, communicate, that they take more pride in their community. That means that they're better neighbors, that they're probably more compliant to the governing documents, that they're not the people that are on those rogue websites posting nasty things about your community, because they know what's going on and they're familiar with the board of directors and they're familiar with the vision and the direction of the community.
I could not agree more. What I always say is everyone has to work together, because a homeowner today could be a board member tomorrow.
Absolutely. And we want them to be. That's the idea, right? To get great informed people in place for succession plans for board of directors.
Just quickly, I serve on a board in our industry, and I would tell you that one of our biggest responsibilities is succession planning.
Yes.
Who will be the leaders of the organization tomorrow? And it's a piece of business that oftentimes we hear that there just there aren't candidates to run for the board. And so I think it's important just to slide that in. I know as we're getting close to our game time, but just to really reinforce that one of the responsibilities of a board member is to succession plan for the community leaders tomorrow.
Well, we have another caller. She's one of our #1 fans of the show, and she also wanted to give a shout out. Deanna?
Yes.
Are you hanging out by the pool, drinking your mimosas, listening to the Saturday HOA brunch?
Yes, I am. I am.
And you wanted to give a shout out to the ladies?
Yeah, great job, ladies. And it's very important about the board package. I appreciate that, because as a portfolio manager, you have a lot of meetings. So great job, ladies.
Deanna, thanks for chiming in.
Oh, you're welcome. Have a great day, everyone.
We love you, Deanna.
Thanks,
Have
Deanna.
a great weekend.
All right, talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
It is time for Battle of the Managers, edition #1.
Yeah, it's been tweaked.
We're going to have 2 rounds of 3 questions each, true or false, and then we're going to go to the lightning round.
Yeah, you get excited about that. Flip the coin. Call it in the air, Catherine.
Tails.
Oh, it was heads. Julia, you go first. I'm sorry. All right, so Brad, you're going to ask Julia the first 3 questions. We're going to keep score.
Get on that mic, Julia.
I'm here.
True or false? Question #1. Listeners, play along. Board members don't always have to abide by their fiduciary duty if they rely on a manager.
Board members always have to abide by their fiduciary responsibilities and their fiduciary duties.
Excellent.
So
that one was false.
False.
Okay,
right.
Keeping score
got
is Jonathan. As peers of fellow owners in the community, board members should do as their... Oh, this is still you, Julia.
Okay.
As peers of fellow owners in the community, board members should do as their fellow owners tell them.
False.
Exactly.
Board members should do what's in the best interest of the community as a whole.
That's it, exactly. That's their duty.
Third question for Julia.
Number 3.
Okay.
Managers may attend executive session meetings. True or false?
Absolutely true, and they should.
Absolutely. So if a manager attends an executive session meeting with the attorney, there's still attorney-client privilege, even though the management company, First Service Residential, is not the client. It is a necessary agent to the meeting. Jonathan, take it away. Oh, what was the score there? What'd you get?
What do you think? 100%.
But plenty to play. Plenty to play.
We do. But
stepping up to the mic is Catherine. Go ahead, Jonathan.
I'm honored. I get to. My contestant is the head honcho in the office. So, All right, are you ready, Katherine?
I'm ready, Jonathan.
A 2-day notice is required for executive session.
Yes.
True, she got it.
True
I'm not
it
surprised.
is.
It's not important for managers to invest in continuing education regarding industry's best practices because they may not all apply.
False.
Yeah, got that one right.
Correct.
Personnel issues such as hiring and firing of employees may be discussed at a general board meeting.
True, but not recommended.
Perfect answer.
Right,
Perfect.
absolutely.
You see, this is the one I had to correct on the sheet.
Yeah.
Okay, so excellent. It's not necessary, right? It's not mandated.
Right.
But you really should.
But you should, because it's the nice thing to do.
It is. There is definitely an overlap between community association law and labor law.
That's right.
All right.
Round
so
2.
how did she do, Jonathan?
They're smart. They both have 100% right now. This is like the spelling
Here we
bee.
go.
There's 2 winners this year.
Here
You
we
couldn't
go.
stump them.
Round 2.
Co-champs.
Champions.
Not yet.
Julia.
Yes.
Second round. 3
All
questions. True or false? Question number 1.
Bring it.
Executive sessions may be held via teleconference or video conference.
True.
Excellent.
Ding, ding, ding.
Sure,
She
no
got it.
problem. As long as everyone can hear each other.
As long as everyone can hear one another.
Number 2, board members are not subject to the governing documents if they rely on a manager to interpret and enforce them.
False.
Yeah, board members, they have the ultimate obligation,
Yes.
fiduciary obligation. They
That's
run the
right.
show. Number 3, a request by a delinquent member for a payment plan should be discussed in an open board meeting.
False.
False.
Yeah.
Perfect. So delinquent
Yeah.
assessment payment plans must be discussed in executive session. And again,
Yes.
executive session, that's the meetings where all the owners are excluded. It's just the board members
Just-
and any necessary persons.
Any invited guests.
Any invited guests?
That's
Well
right.
stated.
All right. Is it time for me to go with my contestant?
Not yet. How
Not
did
yet.
she do?
Well, what do you think? 6 for 6 so far.
6 for 6.
I have a feeling we are going to have co-champs. Okay. So, Katherine, are you ready for your 3 questions?
I am ready.
All right. Because executive sessions are confidential, no agenda is necessary for executive session meetings.
False.
Got it. The association's president should be a good meeting facilitator.
True.
Got it. A fiduciary duty is not a legal obligation, but rather a guideline for how board members should act.
False.
Got it.
False.
Yeah. What do you think the score is? Why don't you take a guess, Epstein?
It's all tied up. 6
Yeah.
apiece. Ready for the lightning round. 5 questions. Julia, true or false? Number 1. The board should follow a consistent structure and schedule.
Time out. She has 30 seconds, and you can't repeat the question, and she has to answer true or false.
Yes, sir.
So I have to start my stopwatch.
Hit the clock.
All right. I challenged that for you, Katherine. I didn't want any cheating.
Okay.
All right. Ready?
Go.
Go.
The board should follow a consistent structure and schedule for meetings.
True.
True, that's exactly right. The manager has no role in hiring the right personnel for the right job.
False.
Correct. Members have a right to review association employee compensation information only by job classification or title.
True.
That's correct. The board may deliberate about contracts in open session.
True.
Correct. Notice of an executive session may be posted in the common area, mailed, or provided in a newsletter.
True.
Correct.
Yeah. What do you think the score is? 11 out of 11. Are you surprised?
Not at all.
All right. So it's time for our lightning round.
Okay.
Katherine might win by judge's decision here. That took 41 seconds. So, all right, Katherine, we're going to show them how
That
to
was my
play.
fault.
We're going to show them how to play the lightning round. 5 true or false questions, 30 seconds on the clock. Are you ready, Katherine?
I'm ready.
Question number 1. Board members are responsible for the conduct of business of the association.
True.
Meeting in executive session preserves the attorney-client privilege.
True.
Foreclosure decisions may be made in open session if the owner is present and consents.
False.
Notice of executive session meetings may always be provided via email.
False.
Board members can sometimes be appointed to the board by managers.
False.
Wow. 100%, 29 seconds. Can you believe that? It looks like we have co-champs.
No, we don't.
What do you mean?
That's not how we play it here.
Oh, you want to do the tiebreaker?
There is only one winner. Not true. We have a first place winner, $100 gift card. A second place winner, that's a $50 gift card. In the future, any board members want to play this? The last question is, the role of the board and management must be clear in order to minimize confusion, clarify accountability.
True.
Wow.
Julia gets it. The winner.
What?
Nice.
It did. It goes back to
Really?
Julia. She was the first one. Regardless,
We
even
hope
though
you
she
had
tried to
fun.
sneak it in.
We hope you had fun today. First
We
service
sure did.
residential.
First
Julia and
service
Katherine.
residential. First service residential.
Thank you for coming in and joining us on a Saturday.
Julia Plummer, Katherine Henricksen, First Service Residential.
So enjoy your Saturday, and we hope that you'll tune in next week. What do you want to talk about next week? Because I think we get to choose, right?
We have 20 seconds. Do you have any closing statements, you guys? You want to say anything? You want to say hi to your board members? You want to say hi to your mom?
Well, we want to thank you for so much for having us come on here today. What a privilege, a great opportunity, and it was really a blast. I hope it was informative and that kind of people walked away from the discussion feeling like they're ready to be board members.